See, this just makes me a little sad because I see if you go to your parents and just ask and just be like, there's one of two outcomes that's gonna come out of this. It's gonna be either in the face, or they're gonna be like, okay, let's talk about this. That's not the likely outcome. The second one's not a likely outcome. They might be like lashing out at you at first, but at least it starts the conversation. I want to know how many people out there are actually going through this situation. Today is date day. So me and Hallie have a date day once a month. We have date nights at least once a week, but once a month we do date days. Hallie, could you explain a date day?
A date day is where we just do a bunch of fun things that we like in a day, not just a night.
Full day. So we had breakfast. That's what you just saw. We're also going to a Pacers game tonight. And what are we doing?
We're going to dinner.
Dinner. Very nice.
And maybe a little shopping.
And maybe shopping. Back to the topic of this video. So I made a TikTok the other day about how me and Hallie went around the whole, parent situation. And a lot of people asked to make a video on the specific topic. So that's kind of what we're doing right now. That may mean that there might be a lot of new people here. So if you're new, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment down below if you have a question or maybe a future video idea. The main question we're answering is, how did we convince my parents to marry Hallie? Obviously, it's not very common for first generation parents that are in America to kind of go outside of, marrying someone that isn't a part of your culture. And so this was a very hard fact for my parents to understand. I understand their position completely, and so does Hallie. It's just one of those things that takes time. It took Hallie a very long time to get in that position where we can kind of introduce her to them and go to that next step. So Hallie, how scared were you when you first met my parents?
On like a scale of 1 to 10?
Yeah.
Probably a 10. Probably 10.
10. I mean, my parents are pretty intimidating. I'll have to introduce you to them sometime. They're actually really funny people. They're hilarious. It was kind of one of those things at the very beginning. It was scary. We didn't know where to go. I was scared. I was pooping my pants.
Well, just because the situation was so, we didn't know, what the outcome was going to be. And Suketu and I obviously knew what I wanted pretty early on in our relationship. But you don't know how other people are going to react, especially when that's not something that they're really used to, so.
Exactly. So I want to kind of help answer the question of, how would you handle this situation? Mm-hmm. How would you go to your parents and kind of introduce the fact that, hey, I may be with somebody outside of my own culture? So the approach that I took obviously isn't the best. I waited 3 years to introduce Hallie fully. And the ways that I took that is I had her come in, whether she be a hired photographer for our family events. So I'll put some clips here of Hallie being a part as a photographer, and she's just kind of introducing herself. She's having fun. She's meeting my family, and I think everybody has an idea of what's happening, what's going on, except my parents. This is how I helped introduce her to my extended family, like everybody around, which helped whenever I introduced them to my parents as my girlfriend. So just to go back a little bit on when we started dating versus when Hallie started to be involved with my family a little more. In 2015, we started dating. And Hallie, when did we kind of get into my family?
So we started dating in 2015, and then from there, literally for 3 years, we just, we would hang out at my parents' house or go out and do things, hang out with our friends. We just never really went over to Suketu's house, which is kind of crazy to think about. 3 years of not doing that. It's really crazy. I'd maybe been to his house in those 3 years 2 times ever. So that was crazy. And then in 2018 is when I started being hired as a photographer. So that's when I started going to things. And then I think it was just about 9 months later that the whole finding out about me thing happened.
So how did they find out? The way that I handled this is, first of all of my family really knew. So my sisters, my brother-in-law, everybody kind of knew what was happening.
They're all married, keep in mind, so a lot of people.
Which is a huge advantage to me. Now, if you're like an only child and you have nobody or your cousins aren't on your side, that's a difficult situation. Honestly, I don't think I'm the right person to kind of advise in that situation besides being courageous and just kind of going for it and seeing what happens. But I went the route of going to my siblings, telling them this is the situation I'm in, how do I handle it? They backed me whenever I went to my parents and told them, hey, this is the route I want to go, this is what I want to do. And that's the exact conversation I had. They did not like it. They were not a part of it.
When did it
was like 2019-ish, right?
Well, like, what were you were having dinner at the time.
Yeah, we were having
dinner.
Yeah, and so everybody was there, and this is how it was kind of introduced as like, okay, this is gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Well,
okay.
because you felt so strongly about it that, I mean, you know, you get tired of hiding something for so long. It's like you just want to tell, you know, the people that you're closest to and that you live with.
And Hallie was tired of it, so it was getting strenuous on our relationship as well. But I think we made the right decision in terms of waiting just a little bit to make sure that they get adjusted rather than just pushing it all at once.
Well, and the big thing too is that at that point, you know, we'd been together almost 4 years, and we were in college, and we knew that we wanted to get married, you know, eventually. So I think the bigger thing too is that knowing that you're serious, because if you don't know how your parents are going to react, I mean, Suketu and I knew we were serious about each other, and he wanted to tell his parents because he knew someday he'd marry me.
Starting off by going slow and introducing her as like a photographer, just inviting her to different things like Gerba, allowed my parents to see who Hallie really was, rather than just kind of saying, hey, this is a person you've never met and this is who she is to me. And so they already had an idea of who Hallie was. They understood a little bit more about Hallie. They didn't know Hallie that well, but they at least knew that she was, you know, she was interested in our culture, in the things that I was interested in, and that is something that they saw, which helped them adjust to what was happening. So my recommendation overall is to find a way to introduce this person that you're with to your parents without saying, hey, this is my girlfriend and we're gonna be together forever and that's it. Boom. The way you should try and handle that situation more is invite her to a few things, whether it be a family function or a Gerba or someplace your parents are. They might be having dinner somewhere and you come in and they say, hey, this is my friend, and it's a bad, you know, in a situation that they might catch on pretty quickly. They're gonna ask questions, but it'll give them it'll give them a little edge to know the person without them judging the person so quickly, because the second you say, hey, this is my girlfriend, they're gonna start judging, and that's just how it is. Okay, that's okay. That's just how it's gonna be. So you just figure out a way to put this person that you care about in a position where they can be introduced to your parents without you having to say, this is my girlfriend. Once that happens, then you can kind of go in and say, hey, I really like this person, you know her and or him, and you kind of go and introduce them as your girlfriend or boyfriend, whatever it is. And so this will give you an opportunity to hopefully
just kind of sneak in there. You can come in after that, you know, after a little introduction.
I don't know if this helps at all, but this is just how I handled it. It worked for me, and I think it may work for a lot of others. Leave a comment down below. Maybe you have a different idea. Maybe you have a better idea. Maybe you think that, hey, I'm just a little too scared about this specific situation. I want to know. So if you could, just leave a comment down below, and maybe we could talk more about it. So hopefully this helps. Me and Hallie have to go on this date. I'll take you guys along for a little bit. So hope you enjoy. you. Quick recap, what just happened?
I almost fell on ice. Suketu caught me. Someone got taken away in an ambulance, and then I think this girl passed out, and I had ice cream.
And the Pacers?
Oh, they won.
We are home. Hallie won a shirt. It was a parachute. She won a shirt. So that's pretty cool. Me and Hallie are now gonna go stream some Fortnite or just, you know, games on Twitch at Suketu Patel if you're not already on there. But we're gonna go do that. This is Sylvie.
You guys know Sylvie.
We're gonna go do that. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, if you like this video, leave a like, comment down below. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.
Got one of them, okay.
Let's go! Tarek Patel 10 _ says poop.